It'll be one to go this time by. Coming to the green, buddy, coming to the green. Let's go get him. Go, 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 take, go, 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 go.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
If I can have your attention, please, we're going to go ahead and roll into our post-race Gatorade Duel at Daytona press conference. We're pleased to be joined at the podium right now by our top finishing Raybestos Rookie of the Year candidate. He finished 4th in today's race, in today's duel. He drives the number 20 Home Depot Toyota. He's Joey Logano. Joey, congratulations on an outstanding finish out there today. Your thoughts about today's race and your thoughts about running in your first Daytona 500 on Sunday.
All right. Yeah, I think we accomplished everything we need to do with the Home Depot Toyota. You know, our main goal was to go out there and finish the race, so that was more than we got in the shootout. And then just kind of keep going and, you know, gain some respect from these guys like I've been saying all week. And I feel like we accomplished that. And, you know, we can work on our car a little bit more and get ready for the 500.
Let's take questions now for Joey. We've got 2 wireless mics, Jay and Andrew. And we're also going to have Scott Riggs. If you want to come on up, Scott, that'd be great. We'll start right here. State your name and affiliation, please. Go ahead.
Tom Jensen, SpeedTV.com. Over here, Joey. How much of a relief is it just to get a race under your belt in the 20?
Yes, I think it's a really big deal. You know, just working with those guys and getting used to, you know, from what I say to adjustments, you know, just working like that. It takes a little bit, but I feel like we're getting there.
Let's take another question for Joey. Who's got it? Got one right over here. We'll take one more question for Joey, and then we'll go to Scott Riggs and keep them both up here. Go ahead.
Yeah, Dave Rodman from NASCAR.com. Joey, off to your left. Could you comment on how the education process continues? Did you have another problem on pit road? And just overall, how was the experience on the racetrack, please?
Yeah, I had another problem on pit road. It's just I think these speedway brakes just lock up quicker than you would think. And you know, you're slowing down, and you think you're good, and then you go to really stop, and they just lock up. So, you know, I feel like I've got that kind of calmed down now at least. I thought it was going to be a little better than that ARCA car was, but I guess not, apparently. But, yeah, besides that, I learned a lot. Just, you know, the handling of the car, you know, what to do to keep your run going, draft, and I just learned a lot about all that stuff.
Let's take another question for Joey. I think Mike Vega had it, and then we'll open it up for the others. Right there. Go ahead.
Joey, Mike Vega, Boston Globe. Did you talk about the handling in the draft, and when you got to the front, did you feel more comfortable running up there with the guys who, you know, had that experience, and when you helped push Jeff to the front, any thoughts about passing him at that point?
Well, I was going to plan on getting there and then figure out what I was going to do from there. But, yeah, I mean, the handling of the car is so much better in the front than it is the back. Once you get in the back, I mean, especially on old tires, it's a handful and a half. So as you get closer to the front, it gets better. It's just a matter of getting there, which that's not the easy part. So, you know, once we got up there, I mean, it was, you know, only a few to go. And, you know, I made a last-ditch effort there at the end, going into 3, just hoping someone would go with me. But, you know, I figured if I'm that close, I might have to go for a win. But, you know, overall, I think it was a good day.
Okay. We're going to keep Joey up here for a few more minutes, but we're also right now going to introduce Scott Riggs. He drives the number 36 Toyota for Tommy Baldwin Jr. Scott raced his way into the Daytona 500 today, finishing 8th. Outstanding effort. Scott, how do you feel about getting into the 500?
Oh, man, we're elated. We're just very happy with all the guys. And, I mean, this is you know, this is grassroots right now for us. I mean, you go to the shop, and it's a lot of guys who are just volunteers, just, you know, passionate about racing. They're addicted to the racing bug that we all are addicted to, and they put their heart and soul into it just from faith in Tommy and the whole organization. So to be able to, you know, scrap something together from, you know, a month and a half ago, nothing, and to be able to put something together, come here, run good, and be pretty strong in the pack, and be able to get ourselves in the race, and it speaks volumes for us.
Let's go upstairs for a couple questions right now. Who's got a question? State your name and affiliation for either Scott or Joey.
Monty Dutton, Gaston Gazette. This is for Scott Riggs. Scott, I was watching, and you're obviously in a difficult spot, and it appeared to me, I watched you pretty closely during most of the race, that it's a really perilous thing finding people to draft with you. And you're here with a team and a car that's not familiar to other cars, but you've had a good record, and you finished, was it, fourth in the 05 500. And I just wondered how frustrating it is for you when you know that you just can't afford any mistakes, and you've got to try to find somebody out there who'll run with you and work together with you.
I mean, it is definitely hard. You get frustrated at times when you have a run and you try to make something happen and somebody doesn't go with you to make it work, or just peel off and leave you hanging. But I know from the other side of the shoe too, it's hard being out there. It's one thing for everyone to come down to Daytona and try to figure out, okay, this guy's in this car and this guy's changed this car and this guy's in this car, and try to figure out who's in what car these days and what sponsors on the car. But I know that it's even more difficult to have a car and a car number and car colors that no one else recognizes. So it takes a little while for everybody to get used to it and figure out who's behind the wheel and who you can trust and who you can't. You have to know your competitors. But, we had a fast enough race car. I think some people saw it. And, hats off to, there was a handful of guys out there that I had a chance to practice with yesterday. And there was the same guys that got behind me and gave me some good shoves today.
We're also joined up at the podium now by our second-place finisher in today's duel. He drives the number 14 Office Depot Old Spice Chevrolet. That's Tony Stewart. Tony, back-to-back strong finishes with that new race team. You've got to feel good about that.
Yeah, real happy. I just kind of picked up from where we left off the other night. This car's a little bit better than our shootout car was, and it drove great today. So, just really proud of Darian Grubb and Chevy and everybody on the Old Spice Office Depot team. They've just done a great job of, it still amazes me how much they got done in such a short amount of time to come down here.
All right, we'll stay upstairs for a couple questions for either Scott, Tony, or Joey. Go ahead, please.
Mark Decotis from Florida Today for Scott. Scott, you said it was about 6 weeks ago that this team was formed. I'm assuming you're getting paid. You're not volunteering to drive. And if you wouldn't call this miraculous, you getting into 500, what would you call it? Thank you.
Well, I mean, Tommy he pays me attention. He pays me some attention for sure. And Tommy and I came down to a point that I had to make the decision. Am I going to sit at home and stay on the phone and call people and hope that something opens up to give me an opportunity to get in the car, or am I going to go down to Daytona and start the season off with somebody that like Tommy, who in my situation has more experience than anyone I've ever worked with as a crew chief. So, what really made the decision for me is when I talked to Tommy and heard the passion in his voice and heard it, just talking to him several times on the phone, how dedicated he was and how positive he was and how, hey, we're going to do this. You just stick with me, we'll do it. And I think that's a turning point for me, that I said I'm going to go fight this good fight and try to make sure that this team is going to give me this opportunity. We're going to go try to make the best of it. I hope that things can go further and we can continue to race. Tommy's committed to go to every single race and try to qualify for every single race. And the more the sponsorship comes and the more opportunities we have to get our races paid for, the more races we're going to try to race. So far we've got the first 3 paid for and sponsored, and real proud of everyone that's out there hunting for us as well, and also real proud of Red Bank Outfitters coming on board for this weekend's race and next week's race in California.
Stay upstairs for another question. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mike Harris from Associated Press. For Scott and Tony, you guys both came out on the top side of this qualifying situation here at Daytona, but could you each comment a little bit about this qualifying format? Do you think, number one, it's fair? Do you think people understand it?
I'll let Tony answer that.
I don't understand it fully. I mean, the part I do understand is that the guys that are trying to race their way in are split up evenly, which that part I think is really good. It's not fair to have 9 guys on one side and 1 guy on the other side that's trying to make the race and have to race in. So I'm not sure that I fully understand exactly how we ended up where we did and how we started in our starting spot, but that's the great thing about NASCAR. There's smarter people than us that figure that out for us, and they give us a lineup and tell us where to go.
We'll come